to my first Jayce commentary. This is actually a game that I played a couple weeks ago with some friends of mine. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a more recent Jayce game as LoL Replay has been playing very poorly with the latest couple of patches, and between a couple of weeks where actually nothing was able to record at all, and a couple of weeks where if I had LoL Replay open, the post-game lobby would just automatically crash. So this is about 2 weeks back, playing with some buddies of mine. This is actually one of my first games as Jayce, or earlier games as Jayce, and so I'll point out some things that I do that newer Jayce players might also do that will, definitely be things that you're going to want to try to correct for, as I have done so since. But onto the game. This is going to be myself as Jayce, and I'm playing with Shock and Awesome here, who is a Nautilus jungler, and then our mid lane is Brand, who we don't know, and then our bottom lane is going to be Thresh and Misfortune. And then I will be going top against a Teemo with a Lux, middle Evelynn jungler, and Vayne Soraka bottom lane. So to start off, I was an idiot and did not come down to help my jungler with wolves because I'm a dick. So give him a little bit of help there, and then help him out. I think I try to give him a little bit bigger leash here at blue because I didn't really do anything for him at wolves. One thing to keep in mind when playing Jayce and leashing is that when you switch between your hammer and cannon, you actually get bonus passives on the first time you hit and target with each of those. So the first time you hit something after switching to your ranged cannon, you get some armor and magic resist tread. So in that situation, when you're leashing for your jungler or something, it's often really nice to switch to cannon and then auto attack whatever it is, the big golem in that case, once, just to get the armor shred and magic resist shred so that he can take it down even quicker. Unfortunately, we just saw Brand go down in mid lane. That's going to be a common theme in this game, so we can play the see how many times Brand dies game, and it'll be fun. Keep you all entertained. It's it's a handicap, for us, because we can't make it too easy for ourselves ever. Anyway, the other passive is the first auto attack after you switch into your hammer form does bonus magic damage. So if you're trying to leash for someone, it's a good idea to start in hammer form. You can then switch into cannon and get the armor shred, and then switch back to hammer to get the bonus damage, and that'll kind of maximize your damage output when you're leashing for them and helping them out. Anyway, so I started out with a pretty standard Jayce opening: Fairy Charm, 5 health potions, 1 mana potion, and a ward. And that Fairy Charm is obviously going to be turned into a tear, which is a really, really great item on Jayce. Mura mana as well, which is what you're going to eventually aim for with that. And then obviously health potions in the ward, because Teemo's a dick, and warding is always a good thing. Unfortunately, I didn't realize this, but green wards are pretty worthless against an Eve jungler, so that's why I actually have not put my ward down yet, is because I know it's not, the only thing that ward is going to help me fend off is a gank from Lux, and I know that Lux is not going to be roaming this early in the game, so there's not really any reason for me to put that down just yet. Teemo's actually doing a pretty good job here, just kind of harassing me with his poison. He started with a lot of sustain with his rejuvenation bead and 5-in-1 potion mix. So I'm just trying to last hit. His blinding dart is obviously really annoying when you're trying to last hit. Like, a good Teemo player will pay attention to you when you walk up to go for last hits and blind you right before, so that you don't get the you miss the last hits. Fortunately, though, Jayce is more of a caster than an auto attacker, although he obviously does both. And so what I mean by that is obviously the QE combo and the Q from your cannon is not going to be affected by the blind. And so that's a good way to, you know, just get sustained poke and just do your Jayce thing with the acceleration gate shock blast combos. But more importantly, your hammer form abilities when you go into melee form, those are unaffected by blind. So you can Q onto Teemo, you can whack him with E, you just can't auto attack him when you're blind. So that's just something to think about. Here, Nautilus comes in for a gank, hits a ridiculous grab that no one should ever hit. I forgot that Teemo had barrier there, so I ignited and E'd him right away. Fortunately, though, we're still able to get the kill because of the Nautilus CC and slows, and so that worked out quite well. So we just shove up and head back. And that was a pretty good timing for us too, because he's going to miss this big cannon minion up here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go just to our side's vision. There we go. Just so you can see what I was seeing during the game, and hopefully kind of further illuminate our decision making and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, first back, I probably should have sold my sight ward and bought a vision ward, since I'm pretty sure I had enough money to do that. But that's alright, I'll just keep it for now and probably throw a ward down later to, you know, once luck starts roaming. But yeah, first back, picking up a Tear and a Doran's Blade. That's a really, really fantastic set of items. Those are like the two items that you want on Jayce early game. Like if you go back and you have just enough for one, the first item you're probably going to want to get is your Tear, just so you can charge it up earlier. But Doran's is a fantastic item, especially against someone like Teemo, who's going to be putting down a lot of random harass. The per hit sustain from Doran's Blade is actually really great, especially when you couple it with the auto attack speed steroid on your cannon, the W. You actually get it lowers the attack per hit. So here, let me show you. Hypercharge, it lowers the attack per hit, but you attack really, really quickly, and so you still get the 5 health per hit from the Doran's Blade, but you don't do as much damage. Anyway, just to get back there, that was a really great gank from Nautilus, as you saw. Unfortunately, he missed his first anchor here. But when I queued onto him, instead of just auto-attacking him, I stopped auto-attacking, ran behind him while he was slowed from the queue, and then knocked him back into range of Nautilus, who then threw down the ult and got the easy kill. There's just so much CC between Jayce and Nautilus. That's like, it's a really, really rough lane to be pushed that far up in. And so I assume Teemo probably had a ward somewhere around here, but you know, Nautilus is one of those characters that between his grab and his ult, he can gank really, really easily from lane. So that's just always something to be careful of and be aware of when you're playing against one. And if you are playing with or as Nautilus, it's something to keep in mind to set up potential ganks like that. Anyway, Teemo came back. Looks like he's building towards a malady or something. Okay, so this is I'm almost as good a warder as Skara here, but not quite on that level. I was trying to figure out a way to use this stupid ward, and I was like, you know what? Maybe Teemo's just gonna like be a dick and hide the brushes and be a jerk, and so I just decided to try to ward this top brush. Unfortunately, I'm terrible at this game and warded absolutely nothing. So that's just a testament to how bad I am, and it is just there staring at me, laughing at me, and taunting me. Anyway, Teemo's now level 6 or 7, so he's going to be running to and from the river to throw down his wards and stuff. That was really kind of dumb of him, and I get the kill. Even through the... well, not through the... here, I'll show you what happened there. So once he gets hit by this, he should not have run around for that auto attack. Like that just ruined him. I had to use my flash to get there, but as you saw, the duration on barrier is a lot shorter than the duration on ignite, and so the barrier actually wore out on the last tick of ignite, or with a couple ticks of ignite left, and so that was a pretty easy kill there. I did have to use both my summoners, but it's obviously worth it to kill a Teemo. Alright, let's go back. So at this point, our team is doing pretty well. Misfortune and I have been doing well in our lanes, and Nautilus is just patrolling all over the place. Unfortunately, almost makes the great escape, but wasn't able to happen. I think if I had been paying attention here, after killing Teemo, I could have ran down through back here and tried to help out, but it was too late at that point. I didn't think that they were gonna be in a position for me to help them. Anyway, Brand is in a pretty rough spot now. Unfortunately, though, Lux is pretty terrible at CSing apparently, so they're right about even on that front. But anyway, at this point, I'm heading back up to lane, throwing down a pink ward finally because I've got enough money for one, and trying to clear out some of these goddamn Teemo shrooms. I think I walk into one eventually, but we got a glimpse of one there. I don't know why that's showing up. I think that's just a kind of replay glitch or whatever, but anyway, I take a ton of damage because I walk into a mushroom in front of 5 creeps and a Teemo, so that was no good. Like, I just got back to lane, and I'm already at like a 3rd health. That was really bad. Just kind of trying to poke, see where he is. I, for some reason, didn't throw down the acceleration gate there, but that's alright. Anyway, Nautilus is coming up for a little bit of gank, but we saw the Teemo shroom, so he's just kind of using my pink ward to clear him out. Another good place for this pink ward would have been right in this brush. I probably should have done that, but I think I was afraid that I was going to walk over a couple shrooms before I got in range to ward the brush there. But either of these areas are good, because, you know, Teemos are generally going to try to ward up or shroom up this entrance as much as they can, especially if he's getting ganked by a Nautilus and wants to play safe. The other area for common shrooms are, you know, these brushes, and then kind of around the corners here. Those are places where good Teemos will try to ward up. Just be a nuisance. Anyway, going back to CSing, Teemo's actually, even though he's died 3 times, he's actually doing pretty well. Part of that's because I'm pretty terrible at CSing with Jayce. I'm still trying to get used a little bit to his auto attack range, or speed, which is slightly slower. His attack animation is slightly slower than other champions I play or recently played and I'm used to, but it's, once you get the hang of him, he's really easy, especially once you get, you know, some farm and can farm up with your Q. I go ahead and miss a really easy EQ combo, but that's alright. Oh, I guess my last item I bought was a Brutalizer. I went Brutalizer instead of Boots, as I obviously only had enough gold for one or the other. And the reason is that between your acceleration gate and the innate damage, this is going to be great. Ready? See ya! So I don't. I want to say that acceleration gate was done on purpose, so that he wouldn't see it and would walk back into range, and then I'd be able to get the combo through it. But that was entirely accidental. But don't tell anyone. We're gonna pretend that was all planned, and that was like the EQ of the century. Anyway, the point about Jayce is that he's got such ridiculous range with his EQ, and he gets really, really massive move speed steroids from his acceleration gate and just switching weapons that you really don't need to buy boots that early. Teemo complimented me, thank you, and Nautilus is just being a dick, because that's what Nautilus does. Anyway, so I think now I pick up some boots, hopefully, or something like that. Yeah, there we go. Oh, the other thing that I'm doing really poorly this game is skilling up Jayce entirely incorrectly. So at level 6 and 11, I put a point into his ultimate, which you really, really don't need. Jayce's ultimate, the only thing it does when you level it up is increases that kind of passive, the passive armor shred on your first hit and the passive the magic damage on your first hit in cannon form. And unless you're like you have a specific style of play where you're trying to take advantage of those two aspects, it's usually not optimal to skill him up. Like his other skills are just so much better, and that's just like not because he's overpowered or anything. It's just a design flaw. Like it's up to Riot and like the game designers to incentivize to make an ultimate that is strong enough to incentivize leveling it up whenever possible. But because you start with it at level, holy crap! Look at all those goddamn mushrooms. Feel like Super Mario here. But yeah, instead of leveling up the ultimate, I should have been leveling up the W at 6, or like after I maxed out the acceleration gate. So that was kind of a silly move, but it is what it is, and it's actually not too bad. I mean, as long as I'm switching weapons kind of constantly, like it's really good for things like this where you make use of the passive, right? So that kill would not have been nearly as easy if I had not skilled up my W, or my ultimate. Also, because this is one of my first games, I'm not really used to how Jayce worked at this point, or I wasn't really used to how Jayce worked at this point, and felt like I wasn't going to be using the W to auto-attack as much as I would have been switching weapons and getting that kind of passive damage off. So it was a little bit planned, but a little bit kind of, I just didn't realize that, you know, his W is actually stronger than his ultimate once you get the hang of how Jayce plays. But anyway, so I was hoping that Eve was backing somewhere stupid, but she was a smart little jungler and ran all the way back to her base turret or something like that. But I didn't want to run through the tower because when I had hit her with that acceleration gate shock blast, I didn't have any creeps tanking, and so that could have been really bad for me if I had just tried to like face tank the turret. Fortunately, Jayce or Nautilus dies, but there we go with the big shock blast from downtown. So that's the kind of thing that you want to be paying attention to as Jayce, right? Like especially, so I had just shoved up to the tower. I could have spent those extra couple of seconds taking down this tower, but instead I used that time to roam and get a kill mid. Both are okay options. The kill is definitely better in the end because, you know, I can definitely get this tower whenever I want, but a kill is always good, especially if it's a revenge kill on someone like Eve who just hurt your poor Nautilus. Anyway, more damage down on Teemo. So at this point, I think I've got a lot of money here. Yeah, I've got 1,700 gold, and I had just like gotten a kill here. I could, right after killing Eve, I could have gone back and shopped, and that would have been the smart thing to do, especially since I'm totally out of mana. But I saw that I got red buff from her, and I wanted to go back to lane and try to take advantage of my red buff and like be a nuisance to Teemo. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot I can do without mana as Jayce. I mean, like obviously I can auto attack him, but you know, it would have been ideal to back immediately, then come to lane with the red buff and really go to town on Teemo. But at least I get the turret, clear out the next wave, and hopefully make the smart choice and back now. There we go. So our team at this point is doing pretty well. I'm really ahead of Teemo, although he's not actually worth any money, and he's still farming decently well, at least relative to the rest of his team. That is a really bold Evelynn ultimate. I think she expected her team to back her up there. If her team was around, that would have been a great play, but as it was, that was just kind of funny. Especially since Nautilus is super tanky at this point and can just stand there and face tank the turret forever. Although, the Vayne did get our bottom tower, and they're now making a move on our mid tower. But I just take a bunch of poke from Lux and Teemo, and I'm just trying to hold off mid until my team kind of regroups. Oh wow, look at this. So now we get to play the let's see who can feed more game, Teemo or Brand. It's gonna be a close one. Teemo's got quite a bit of CS on Brand, but I don't know. They're both showing equal levels of incompetence at this point. And, I guess as far as like solo queue is concerned, this is, you know, like there are teams, like you're gonna have kids going 0-3, 0-4, 0-5 on all your teams, and that's like just something that you have to like fight through and deal with. And you know, if your Brand is bad enough to go 0-5, then that means you should try to take advantage of, you know, a player on their team and make yourself go 5-0, right? And so that's what I'm doing. It's basically me and Lux trying to duke it out and carry the lanes that aren't quite winning. Nautilus and Misfortune are doing a good job kind of covering mid and helping out Brand, but it's not always easy. Anyway, I don't know why. I think Vayne... Oh, she had red buff, that's why. She was trying to chase me, but ended up missing a good amount of CS at the tower. But I probably shouldn't be this far out. Oh, man. So now Teemo's totally back in the game. He just got a double kill. Probably gonna get a triple kill here. Hero. There we go. Wait, get him. Oh. The Lux shield is too strong. Vayne's silly and thinks she can take me, so I just kill her and get a new red buff. So that was pretty cool. When you're playing against a Jayce who's got 5 kills, and look at my items, Brutalizer and Bloodthirster, it's not something you wanna, you know, you need to take that seriously. I'm not gonna be a pushover. A level 12 Vayne is not gonna stand toe to toe with a level 16 Jayce if we're both farmed. So that was just her being dumb, trying to fight me like that. Anyway, I think at this point, hopefully I can get some boots or something. Oh, okay. Upgrade to Muramana. That's probably a good choice, actually. And our team is doing dragons. That's all good. I got my 3 major items. So, okay. As far as items go, I didn't need to get Bloodthirster. In fact, Bloodthirster is probably something that you, in general, shouldn't necessarily go for. I was really ahead, and Bloodthirster is an item that can, like, it's like a, if you're ahead, it'll make you win harder kind of item. Get to come in here, clean up. I'll talk about what just happened right there in a second after this fight finishes up, but my auto attacks now. So that was my W, the attack steroid, and my auto attacks. They are really hurting. Just like, you know, just because your cooldowns are up on Jayce doesn't mean you're not going to do damage. Like, you want to make sure that you're always auto attacking or doing some kind of damage like that. Anyway, what happened down here that I wanted to talk about was I flashed, I flashed and then queued onto Soraka, but Soraka actually flashed away while my hammer Q was in mid-flight. And even though Jayce's Q in hammer form is a targeted ability, you can actually flash out of it and dodge the damage. I think Alistar's headbutt, or yeah, his headbutt is like that. You can if you time it right, you can flash and avoid the damage. And so that was either really fantastic reactions on her part or a fortunately timed flash. But either way, that's just something to keep in mind. Like, if their flash is up, they can potentially avoid your damage. And what the hell was that Q? Brand. Oh, man. At least he's got 3 assists now. He's getting back in the game. Anyway, if you're playing against a Jayce, if you time it right, you can avoid his damage and slow from the to the skies if you time your flash right. Anyway, at this point, I'm super ahead, and so I'm just trying to, you know, assert my dominance over the map, taking their jungle because it's actually my jungle now. Missing Qs because I'm really good at this game. I don't know what Soraka was doing there, but that's a fantastic grab by Nautilus and easiest kill ever. So, also, something to note about this game, aside from the fact that we're just going super ham right now, and I am doing absolutely nothing way back here, is that Miss Fortune's keeping up in farm really nicely. So she's going to become a pretty big threat. She's already got her Black Cleaver, which is great because both her and I are doing huge physical damage, and the shred is really nice. So here's a really awesome misplay by me, and boom. So that was good job on Vayne for playing by me to not realize that Vayne could just tumble and stealth out of the way. But my first death, I guess it's okay. But ideally I would not have dove in there. Jayce is really squishy, especially if you build like this. On the plus side, I've got my Muramana now, but in general, like, if you're gonna go into melee range, you better be damn sure that you can, like, finish the job and get the kill. Otherwise, you're probably gonna die, unless you flash out. But, you know, like, going into melee range and queuing someone is generally only something you want to do if you know you can either get the kill or at least knock them away to prevent them from hurting you. But Vayne is both a ranged auto attacker and has skills that can dodge the Q. Like her tumble can dodge my to the skies. So that's just something to keep in mind. Anyway, I don't really know what I'm gonna build this into. I think we'll find out in a couple of minutes, but I guess I just had some money and wanted some health and CDR, so CDR is great on Jayce, by the way. Like, if you can get away with it, CDR boots are definitely the way to go. Unfortunately, it's not every game when you're in a position that you can afford to get those boots. And when I say that, what I mean is oftentimes you'll want to go for either Mercury Treads because, like, as I said, Jayce is a relatively squishy champion, especially once you get into hammer form. And so Mercury Treads are really great in, you know, increasing your tenacity and survivability. Misfortune almost takes out Eve, but doesn't quite hack it there. Anyway, Merc Treads are probably a great choice if they have a lot of CC, and what's going on here? Oh, I think he's fine. The other obvious choice would be Ninja Tavi if you're in a lane that's giving you trouble, like a physical attacking lane that's giving you trouble. So, like, against a Wukong or, you know, those kinds of champions, Merc Treads are great. Nautilus goes in a little bit hard, considering it's just him and I going 2v4, but we can deal with it. That is, until I step into a Lux bind and just get trashed. That was a great grab by Thresh, but a little bit of lack of communication there. Like, I was in no position to follow him up, and Nautilus is totally out of mana, so couldn't throw down the anchor toss. But yeah, at this point, I'm just trying to poke them down and keep our turret alive. So that's my only goal. I don't want to kill them. I don't think I can kill them. I'm just trying to keep my turret up. Anyway, because Bloodthirster is... Look at this Q. Come on, you can do it. Oh, almost. Brandon I with the Challenger level Qs. Challenged level Qs, I guess. Yeah, don't do it! Don't do it, Brand! Oh, so, okay, that was... I was really upset that I didn't get that kill. I saw Lux channeling her ult, and so threw down my Q, thinking that I might kill her, but she got away with... What does she have? 30 health. That's really unfortunate. Unfortunately, we don't get as many kills as we would like, but we got 4 of them. That was good. Apparently Teemo has exams or something. I don't really know what's going on there. Anyway, so I pick up some weird items like Spirit Visage. I guess that makes sense since... Well, okay. Let me try to justify my build choice here, and then I'll tell you why it's bad. So, what I was probably thinking during the game is that, okay, what do I want this game? I want some MR because Lux and Teemo and Eve are all doing magic damage, and Lux is doing a lot, and she's really the only one that's got any kills or is fed on their team. So I want MR. I also want health because I'm kind of squishy, and like if I want to dive in with my Q, my hammer form Q, I'm going to want at least some level of health as well. And CDR is just good on Jayce. So what do? I get the health, CDR, and magic resist item. Which, like, all in all, it's not bad. Like, it's not a bad buy. But at this point, I probably would have been better off picking up something like Banshee's Veil. Because the passive, the healing, I mean, yeah, it works with my Bloodthirster, but I'm not going to be taking advantage of it all that much during fights. So it probably would have been better to get a Banshee's Veil. Get the solid kill steal on Vayne there. Obviously, I want the gold, so, you know, can never give up an opportunity to get a good kill steal snipe like that, especially if it's a max range, like downtown shock blast. Yeah, it's always worth it. Anyway, Banshee's Veil would have been better against Lux and Teemo, especially because the snare from Lux and the mushrooms from Teemo are both incredibly annoying, and definitely things that the Banshee's Veil passive would have helped me with. Plus, the health and mana are both really good. Obviously, the health from Banshee's Veil is good on its own, and the mana is great on Jayce, just so you can spam more, plus it'll turn into more attack damage via my Muramana. So, all things to consider when you play Jayce. I think at this point the game's pretty much over, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of speed it up a little bit. Oh, another thing that I do here, which is kind of dumb, so I'm building a ruby crystal, which, well, do a couple things that are pretty dumb. One is get caught. The other is buy this ruby crystal. So I think, I turned this ruby crystal into a black cleaver. It's a good item if, you know, you're late game and you want to turn your brutalizer into something. But when my team already has a black cleaver, it's just not the best item, especially when I don't yet have a Last Whisper, which is like one of the core items on Jayce. In fact, in most of your games as Jayce, and most of my games as Jayce, it makes sense to go Last Whisper instead of Bloodthirster. And so that's what I was saying earlier, is that because I was already ahead in my lane, I picked up a Bloodthirster just so I could start snowballing even harder. But Last Whisper is probably the more common kind of option for your third item after Brutalizer and Muramana. But Bloodthirster is obviously not bad. Although I should have started working towards Last Whisper instead of the Black Cleaver, probably. That would have been the smarter choice, I think. But it's alright, Black Cleaver's fine. It's gonna let Misfortune do huge deeps, and both of us have it, so we'll apply those stacks even faster. Unfortunately, when you have 2 Black Cleavers on a team, the targets can still only get 5 stacks of the Black Cleaver passive. So it's not like it's not like we can shred their armor by 50% if we both stack it. It's still just going to cap at 25%. Anyway, my team went super ham there. They did get the tower, but they lost. We lost Misfortune, RIP. I'm trying to see if I can come and clean up with Nautilus, but he's really low and has no mana, and there are potential enemies everywhere. Plus Eve. I hate Eve. I'm just looking for her right now. Just throwing shock blasts everywhere. She's definitely not in any of those locations, but it's worth it because just in case you make a blind shock blast kill, you look like a god. So yeah, it's worth missing a couple for the chance of looking like a god every once in a while. Anyway, at this point, we're just trying to. I mean, we should be finishing the game now. We're like 10k ahead in gold. I think we do Baron now. I hope. Yeah. There we go. Look at that. Look at those smart Baron calls. This is something we probably should have done a while ago. But get an easy Baron. Apparently Nautilus wants to back, so I miss a shock blast, and like that. If I had landed that, that would have been a super easy kill on Soraka. But I'm really good at this game, as I said, so I missed it. And I'm finally starting to build towards my last Whisper. But yeah, so now we've got Baron. We're group pushing down middle. I think Teemo's kind of AFK probably. Not that it really matters. We're just so far ahead right now. But look at all these minions. Misfortune's pushing down towers, getting caught by Hero plays. Oh god, that was sad. Anyway, meanwhile, top inhibitor. So we're just being dicks and don't do it. No! I thought I had flash before she auto-attacked, but I didn't, and I'm bad. And so I die while we win the game, which is never a good situation. You always want to be alive so you can slash taunt in front of their fountain as you kill their Nexus, but it wasn't to be. Anyway, that's that. That was a pretty straightforward game where I snowballed pretty hard out of control from a couple of good Nautilus ganks and then just kind of picking on Teemo the rest of the game. So thanks for watching, and tune in next time. I think I'll have a different type of Jayce game where it actually takes a little bit of work and coordination to pull off the win rather than just kind of snowballing into a huge victory by 10,000 gold. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.